Well, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, indeed. Welcome to the Matty B Files podcast. The podcast that broadcasts Japanese underground stuffily-dibby-doo. That's what everybody's trying to do these days. On this podcast, we look at the real Japan. Ba-ba-bow! The real Japan. On this podcast, we don't give any efferoonies. We're going to go right down to the heart of the underground in Japan. Hey guys, I'm sitting here at Shibuya Station. We're going to go find the real Japan. Nah, maybe you are. Maybe you are. Wow. You know, I'm not sure, who the regulars are. Are there regulars? Sometimes. You can always tell who the regulars are because they complain and they go, "Hey, what was that thing going on in the background? Something was missing from the audio at the 54-minute mark." And I'm like, thanks, you're listening. That's just how I take it. Hey, there was something weird going on with somebody was talking and then there was transferring to something else. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening indeed. I've been taking a break from this whole let's put our everything online world, and it's been good. It's been good. I feel as though it's like everybody is like there's when we look at like TikTok I open it up and it's just like people jumping around on the beach in their bikinis and they got like 550,000 likes and 22 minutes. It's easy to just go, well, the new game is in town and I'm going to check out. But then, of course, you come back and you go, you know what? I don't just get bikini benefits from doing a podcast. I get information benefits for the long term. So that's why I'm doing it. Welcome, everybody, for this podcast. So, I realize that like when you're getting married, because I got married and it's great. I suggest everybody get married now. And you should wait. If you are, let's say if you are a single man and you're 34, 35 years old and you're looking to get married and have kids, go find one of those 22-year-old girls who wants to be a mom. Because if you're 34, 35, you probably have enough money, if you're not a total asshole, to do some providing. And then when she has the baby and the baby becomes 6, 7 years old, she's going to be like 30 and she can go back to work. And you're going to be 40 and then you can get some of her money. See how this works? You know what? I'm 30. I'm 39. Just got married to my beautiful wife, and it's great. I love it. It's one of the best things that's ever happened, and quite a lot of beautiful things have happened to me. You know what one of those things is? Finding out the real Japan. We're going to podcast about the real Japan. That's one of the things that's happened to me. But yeah, so taking all that time off to plan for the wedding and have all the family come around, and then a small wedding, personalized wedding. I kind of rewrote the wedding vows for the commissioner. She bombed. She totally bombed. She was like, she couldn't say my wife's name properly because my wife's Japanese. She kept mispronouncing her name. I kept looking her in the face and correcting her, just like kind of jokingly. But her confidence was broken after that. Broke her confidence. But overall, everything went well. Great food. That's the one thing you always worry about. Are the people organizing the catering, are they stoners or are they stoners with a plan? And I don't know, some of them were probably stoners because they work in the food industry. And that pretty much means you're a stoner. Or you're working with stoners. So they did a great job. Whole family came together, drinking, dancing, eating amazing food back on Vancouver Island. The The seafood is amazing. Just did a bunch of barbecuing with the brothers and the family, and yeah, it's one of those memories that will stick with you for the rest of your life. You know why? Because it's a marriage, and it ought to stick with you. You know, if you forget your marriage, then maybe you shouldn't have gotten married in the first place. Real Japan. All right, enough of that. So today on the podcast, we're gonna take a look at More Than Music, and Mamoru Satoh's back on the podcast. He was on the last podcast, and he's going to be leaving town soon, so he's going to be rambling around for another few years. So he wanted to hook up and talk about that, and kind of say like, "Hey, let's podcast and do a brief farewell." You know, so fare thee well, Mamoru. And More Than Music is I'd seen their stuff and been to a couple of their shows. And basically, it's turning into a platform which is desperately needed in the Tokyo scene. And the focus is on more than music. And at first, I was thinking it's just kind of like a gimmick, more than, you know, to have that false sense of a community. But no, I was wrong. Justin, who runs More Than Music, does a fantastic job and totally believes in the idea of building a real community around the music. So if you've I've been profiling a lot of musicians and who play in Tokyo or who are visiting Tokyo, and one of the things that we're often kind of mystified about the Tokyo music scene is sometimes each band at a Japanese live house has no connection to each other. They're just filling time slots. So you'll have a total hardcore grunge metal band playing at 6:30, and then a folk singer comes on at 7:30, and then like a disco band will come on at 8:30, and we'll finish off the night with like a person playing bongos next to some sort of paper mache structure, and you're kind of left going, well, I'm not sure, was that intentional? Is this postmodern? But the Tokyo, the More Than Music, has this great idea of integrating the bands together, getting people together, and also providing a platform for not only the bands but the people. I guess that just came to mind, where the people can go and enjoy themselves and watch the bands, and the bands can go and hopefully leverage the power of the drinking foreigner to get some money back from the live house to the bands, which is also one of those things that's very different. Most Japanese people that go and see a live house, they might have one drink or two drinks and just watch the music and try to take in all the music. It's kind of a respectful thing to do. But the foreigners that go frequently are just like, yeah, it's Saturday or it's Friday. I want to have like 12 beers and get sloshed while listening to people play guitar solos at really high volume. So that's a different revenue stream for these live houses, and I think More Than Music is leveraging the power of the drinker to feed money back into the community. So I was really impressed with the business sense, and that's why this podcast is called Internet in the New Music Biz, because the social media platforms are continuously changing algorithms, and if you have a community, it's fine, but they can change the community. So using the social media to link to the community or to promote the community inside of social media, not just existing inside social media, if that makes sense. So I think it's a crucial and a good business direction for the future of the Tokyo music scene. So we'll get into all of that, and we'll talk about a lot of facts and a lot of fun in the Tokyo music scene. So this is the Matty B Files. Today's song is a song that is by Mamoru Satoh. I can't remember the name of it. I could message him right now on the keyboard here, but I'm not gonna. We recorded this outside in Kabukicho after the podcast. Just one microphone pointed at him and the guitar. while people kind of walk by, you can hear the Tokyo in the background. But you know what? I'm not perfect at microphones, but I'm getting better. So I was pretty happy with the way that the audio turned out, and we might be posting up some videos of that too. Anyway, so make sure to check the links in the show notes. Make sure to reach out to Mamoru and Justin or More Than Music if you enjoyed the podcast, or if you want to get in contact with them. Mamoru Satoh is going to be touring around Germany, Croatia, and London soon. And More Than Music is trying to expand to get more international musicians and bringing in some people from all over the world. But if you're interested in playing in Tokyo, I would definitely recommend contacting More Than Music to develop a relationship and also access a fan base that's interested in not only watching you play, but enjoying time with each other. So building the relationship up in Tokyo here. So it's also a bilingual event, so you can be Japanese or English and enjoy that there. So, 日本人と外国人に一緒に楽しんでいるそうですね. So that's going to be me for today. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, and make sure to like and subscribe and check back for more. I'm going to be shifting this podcast to deal a little bit more with tech in the future because of my lifestyle changing from musician to tech person. But I'll still be doing some music. I'm going to be touring in Japan with Adam Yang from Yeti. He was on the podcast. Real bluesy, 4 on the floor, rock and roll balls your ass off type of music. So make sure to tune in for that when we get that going. So, all right, thank you. Let's go. Let's go and find the real Tokyo. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Don't know why I can't find another love since then. Well, I know the reason exactly well enough. Don't know who I could love like I loved you again. This is just how I know what you mean to me. How is your life going? What is the story? Don't know how I deal with this feeling now and then. Well, I know the reason exactly well enough. Don't know how you do it, and I take up my pen. This is just how I know what you mean to me. How is your life going? What is the story? Can we be together somehow? I always wonder, and I got to the answer I can't deny. Can we be together somehow? I can't stop hoping. My feelings are growing. I know what you mean to me. Oh, just be and stay with me, it's all I want. Just be and stay with me all day long. Just be and stay with me, it's all I want. Just be and stay with me all night long. It's all I want. Don't know why I can't find another love since then. This is just how I know what you mean to How is your life going? What is the story? Can we be together somehow? I always wonder, and I got to the answer I can't deny. Can we be together somehow? I can't stop hoping, my feelings are growing. Oh, I know. Can we be together somehow? I can't stop hoping, my feelings are growing. Oh, I know. Can we be together somehow? I can't stop hoping, my feelings are growing. I know what you mean to me. Oh yeah.
Sun.
Was it sunny?
No, just hot.
Just hot, hot and humid. You guys know swass?
Nah.
Swass.
What's that?
It's sweat and ass. It's that Tokyo where the sweat runs off of your back, it goes into your bum, and it kind of creates a foam called swass.
Where's this come from? I always thought that was swamp ass.
Yes, it's basically swamp ass, but we shortened it. Portmanteau.
All right.
Just swass. It's easier to. Not everybody knows what a swamp is in Asia. Yes, but swass is very repeatable, even if you don't know what it means.
Swass.
Might have to use it later today.
Yes, I use it all the time. All right,
It's good to know.
we have More Than Music, Justin in the house, and Mamoru in the house as well.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, guys. So to begin, I've kind of I'm obsessed with technology, basically, right, and music. These are two kind of major spheres that are bouncing around my brain constantly, like they're always in the back burner, right? And I kind of see music not evolving with the technology, even though it's trying to, right? When the iPhone first came out, it was basically a music and phone. But for the past 5-6 years, at these iPhone release parties or phone release parties, nobody talks about the music. It's a camera, it's 4G, it's faster, it's social media, it's your apps, your payment systems, and things like that. However, when we think about the music and the apps and everything in our phone, it feels deeply personal, right? So this sort of new age of mass consumption through social media or through data, through streaming bits into our phone. It feels more personal than ever. Point being, if I go to McDonald's, it's a mass-produced item, but I feel no personal attachment to it, right? But now that the mass media is social media, and it feels deeply personal because it's highly algorithmicalized to our personal core, our intentions. So it feels like I'm interacting with something very personal, but it's actually the most mass-produced thing ever made in the history ever, right? It's kind of crazy to think about it this way.
Yeah.
And so I have this tweet from a Twitter account called the Spectator Index. This is a cool, I suggest everybody, if you like Twitter, I suggest following the Spectator Index. They just put up facts, like lists of facts, like companies year founded, and they list a bunch of companies from around the world, or number of shoes sold, or something like that, or average age of elderly care by country. Just like kind of these very, we say, snackable facts, right? You can just sit down and it scrolls past your phone, and the 10 seconds you have before you give up on everything these days, it sinks into your brain, okay? So this is from the Spectator Index, and this is talking about the mass amount of technology that's floating through the air, influencing our thoughts every minute of the day. Okay, so here we go. Spectator Index. Every minute, 473,000 tweets are sent. 4.5 million videos are watched on YouTube. 3.8 million searches are made on Google. 12 or almost 13 million text messages are sent. 1,100 packages are shipped by Amazon. 750,000 songs are streamed on Spotify, and 50,000 photos are posted on Instagram. So, as a musician, how do you compete with that? Justin.
I'm very curious how many of those YouTube videos are actually music videos that people just watch and not even just other videos, like on top of Spotify.
Right.
Outside of that, how to compete and answer your question. I'm not a musician, so I don't have to get my face out there, but how to put other artists out there, well, that's a tough one.
It's easier than ever, but look at those fucking numbers.
Yeah, right? It's easy to get it up there and out there, but to actually have people attached to you I think that's the question, right? And where people can go off and become much more successful. One of the things that we're trying to do is just have constant...
Who is we?
More than music.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like one of the backing ideas behind what we want to do is there's actually more than ever having video content and photography out there is really important, but it's still costly. So there's a lot of artists who'll put like one video out a year or just every now and then when they can care enough to put it together. And because it's so constant, I think it hits your audience and gets shared for a bit, but it's very quickly, like one single thing gets lost in the deluge.
Yeah.
So what you're really trying to look to do is actually create like a platform or just a way to constantly create.
Yeah.
And one of the sad things about that is I think quality becomes much less important. Like actually having content that's regularly out there is something that people hit up much more than, oh, that's a really good video.
Right.
That's a
well,
really
you could
good
have
picture.
like a woman in a bikini jump up and down, and it frankly doesn't matter how good the audio quality is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. But for like a musician to put together a video and not have good audio quality, I'm gonna bail.
Yeah, right. So, then you start talking about, well, you need videographers, you need sound engineers on top of that, and then you have to have editors putting it all together. It's a really big order to ask any band to do that regularly on top of, getting better at their instruments and creating songs and performing.
Yeah, now all of a sudden you're also a videographer, right? On top of and so you're trying to write music, but you got to stop writing music to do your videography. So these are very different things from each other.
Yeah.
Right? Where if you just put on a bikini and jump up and down.
Are you going to put on the bikini later today?
I'm wearing one right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna wipe my ass all over this microphone. We can film it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I look forward to that one.
Yeah, the swassophone. It's the bonus content.
Well, in that aspect, I think right now people are confused as to how to do it, and they feel like they have to do everything.
Yeah.
And people who have talents spend too much time on the things that aren't their primary objective or what they really want to be into. And I think it's going to take time, but trying to figure out a way to create a more interdependent system. You have videographers who love music, you have editors who want to help out, and creatives that want to support each other, but having a clear system to bring it all together so they work together effectively is, maybe there are systems out there that I don't know of, but I feel like that's the big hook.
Yeah, you got to have a team, right? Because otherwise everyone's just these disparate temporary members. I'm the videographer for 5 different things, right? Not the videographer for one thing, and now I'm gonna. So with More Than Music, I see you guys on Instagram, and you guys put on shows around. So what is More Than Music, and what is your approach to hosting shows and promoting and scene gathering?
So it's always a good one because when I try to get into everything where I want it to be in 10 years, I see it as a platform.
10 years?
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
Right? I'm starting to quit jobs and live more poorly to focus on this.
Really? So it really is more than music for you.
Ideally.
Ideally.
Right now, a lot of people see us as event organizers because that's how we get an image out. We create events. But really, we just got into it because we wanted to support from some friends who are in music in the beginning, and it didn't really have a purpose until like a few years later. It's like, this is actually fun. It's difficult work and a lot of stress, but like it's kind of having an impact. What if we focused on it a bit more? And that's when we started like really kind of thinking about it from last year. And it went from just putting on shows with people there, so the bands that we liked would have an audience, to actually like, all right, well, what do people need? And when you ask that question, it's not just where a lot of people make a mistake, like a bandman thinks about, as a band, what do I want? Or as a venue, they're thinking about themselves. And I'm sure a lot of people had stories about like, it's tough in Tokyo because it's expensive, but it's just a very different business model because there's many venues, many bands, few audience.
Yeah.
So like if you can start to try to create a system where you think about the audience, think about the bands, and think about the venues and organizers, and try to put it so they can work together collectively, like where it's a win-win situation for everybody involved, it becomes a bit more high risk. But in the end, what you do is you end up having shows that like start to finish are really good quality because you care about sound. Like you don't want to book anybody and everybody, but you want to book people who are quality acts. So people who show up, like they can enjoy themselves from beginning to end. Like you care about the venue. So like you think about how to have a party and a good time. So they're selling drinks so they don't have to keep all the money, so bands can get paid back or there's money available. And then with that, you can start creating the content outside of the bands having to do it. Like you could bring in photographers. And then last year we started creating videos. We did like 45 videos in about 15 months.
It's a lot.
And like that was the kind of goal in the last year and a half, was just make it a better paying system for bands while having a really good time, and kind of like community building, like outside of just the music, like having people come together. So a lot of the venues we use have a live venue area, but also like a place where you can hear the music, but it's quieter, like more of a bar space.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you can connect with each other and talk to each other. And then from there, use that to fund content for the band so that we can like help build their image for them.
So so you're kind of acting as the platform show organizer for the bands.
Yeah.
You're not a musician?
I'm not a musician.
Okay.
I played piano for like 15 years, like 3 to 18 or something.
Right.
Like that. 3 to 15, so maybe like 10.
Some
12 years.
Chopin, some Mozart, some
Now
Rachmaninoff.
it's just maybe hot cross buns.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Play the black keys.
Yeah.
Try to make fun of the wrong kind of people. I do that sometimes. Walk into a big camera and just turn on the keyboard really loud and just play the black keys and go do 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 do, and people go, "That's not Japanese music, right?" Yeah, no,
I'll have to try it next time.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, even if nobody really cares, you kind of pretend you do, right? Yeah. Ooh, I'm doing it. So, how? I'm not really part of a scene right now. I'm kind of in limbo. 10 years ago, I was part of a kind of a gaijin rock scene in Tokyo. And what I noticed is after a few years, it's kind of there's a lot of people that come and go, like quite literally. They move to Japan for a year or two, and then they go. And so you might have like band members as well coming and going, and audience members as well coming and going. And so what happened with the scene I was with, everybody just started playing in each other's bands, but that wasn't really a good business model, because now you have the rhythm guitarist in this band is also playing in this band, to a lot of crossover, and then it's like which band is which band, and then it's like what do you do? So how have you managed to? Have you noticed that the comings and goings, and like it's a kind of a scene that's shifting all the time?
So I just got into it. We did only a few shows, like once every 4 months or so, and it was just fun, and it was something different, but it was just a hobby. And when I started to do it a little bit more, like there were bands I had in mind, like I'd love to support them, I'd like to see them succeed. And as I'm like really getting into it, like, all right, I'm thinking long term down the road, but they're disappearing, and then it's like, what the fuck am I doing this for?
Yeah.
And
where's the payoff? What's the investment?
Like, where are we going if the people that I want to do it for are disappearing? And at that time, there were 2 bands.
Like fish in a tank.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, yeah.
No. Yeah, sorry. There were two bands. At that time, I thought about like, all right, well, they're done. Like, I don't have to keep doing this. Like, I wasn't really committed at that time. It was just a hobby.
Okay.
But there are two guys, Robert Tyler Wilson and Entrada, and I was like, oh, well, what if I just, did it for them and worked with them?
Okay.
And Robert basically ruined my life. We work really well together.
He's always doing your More Than Music shows.
He's not on all of them, but he's been on enough because, like, not just musically, but like mentally, like we're on a really similar page.
Okay.
But I'd like to have that connection with more bands. And Entrada was another one. There's actually quite a few bands that we work with.
Entrada did they break up and now they're back together?
So they broke up. I actually introduced him to a drummer, and they got back together. But in that intern time, Luke decided to leave, and he caught his flight last night. But they're not broken up. They're creating music now. But he's in school for 2 years in London, so they'll only perform when he like comes over to visit, or if they go over to England.
Sure. That's what happens when you get a bit older too. Like you can't just. It's when you after like you turn 35. The idea of just being in like a 3 tatami mat room, sweating your balls off with no air conditioning, trying to play music.
I thought that was the goal of life.
That was the goal of life.
3 tatami mats. Once you're there, you're good.
It's fun
enough.
for a while. I did it. It was really fun. But.
So you were in a band then? Like, did you play as well? Yeah.
Yeah, I've had like my own projects. I've worked with professional musicians. I was with a klezmer band called Dead Sea Dropouts. Oh, yeah. But we've recently broken up, it seems, just because, people get older, they have kids, they can't manage to...
Kids are the big one, right?
The kids are the big, and it makes sense that people, it's like, well, I'm going to invest my time in this child, not in your sweaty, ball sack in some random club in the middle of town, So when you're 20, it's great, but once, the kids, and then, anyways, Mamoru, what are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I have a question about your service platform.
More Than Music.
Yeah, More Than Music. Yeah, I'm interested. How do you build the relationship between this platform? How do you build relationship with venues and with artists?
With venues and artists. So I spend a lot of time sitting down and talking with people. I try to create a vision. Basically, I want to have a hub in Tokyo, do flagship shows outside of that hub. National Japanese tours is what I'm, the project that we're starting to spearhead this year. And I'm going over to London because we eventually want to build up into international tours.
Okay.
But you have to see it long term and really commit to it. So you can't just book a band for a show. Anytime we do a show, we sit down with the bands. This August 31st, we're doing a big one. I've seen all the bands already. So that's 4 meetings for me. And then I'm meeting them all again. And then we're doing a group meeting.
You have a reputation for that, actually. I've talked to people who've done More Than Music, and they say that you come out, you do promo, and you connect well, actually. You have a good reputation for that, by the way.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Pass that along. Well, going back to Mamoru's question, do you, any other ways to...
Well, I think when you talk, if you have similar ideology or you want to go similar places, it's a lot easier to connect. Mm-hmm. Having people come out to a show to see what we're doing, experience it. I think one of the things that helped us stand out in some ways is there's an audience there, but people are there having fun. They're not just showing up and disappearing. They really enjoy themselves, and that comes off. And then the bands feed on that energy, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a big one. A lot of the traditional live houses in Japan, it's the band has their audience, and their audience comes for the 35 minutes for that band and then bails. The audience is not interested in checking out the other bands. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, we're all gonna pay 4,000 yen to go to a venue for 35 minutes, wave around our foam fingers, and then just leave. That's a weird business model, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I think that kind of came around as there's pickup events or venues they're
pickup events.
Maybe not pickup event, but a venue picks up bands just to fill in time slots and a norma.
Yeah.
And they don't really think it's not curated. Like they're just looking for people that are going to pay them.
Ticking off a list.
Yeah.
To
So,
fill
all
the
right,
slots.
All right, this day's done. We have our money covered. Business, we're safe. But like, you know, we're trying to curate the event so like the bands mesh up well. Like we always look for like similar style, but not the same style. So like you don't get tired of the sound over 4 hours. You could really enjoy it. Hopefully mix a different crowd so everyone can meet someone new while also enjoying time with their friends.
How do you get people in the doors? I went the last time I went to a More Than Music show. It was probably about roughly a year ago when Kyoto Protocol was in town. Shout out to Fuad.
Great
I love
guy.
that guy. He's so cool.
You know, he played with a broken thumb that day.
Yeah, he's a badass.
He's sitting
That's
there
why.
like strumming the guitar like,
Yeah. He likes the pain. I think he's a bit of a sadomasochist. He's a little bit prim. But I noticed that at that show there was a lot of younger foreigners there, right? Like for me, my life, I don't interact with foreigners at all. Most of the people I interact with are vice presidents of telecom companies and like artificial intelligence engineers.
oh, they're the perfect people for an audience.
Yes, I agree, but it's not like it's a whole bunch of younger people looking to party. You know, like they're kind of demure.
Yeah.
So how do you get the younger gaijins in the door?
Gaijins, I don't know. Like as I meet people or from like event to event, like just invite them out again. Like we sell tickets, so it builds up a email list, and that helps because we can send out an email to people who have come to events in the past.
Okay, so you're saying you have a website where you do payment processing?
Our website doesn't do it, but it links to Piatix tickets, or we started working with Zyko recently as well. Like they've been really great to work with. They actually have been adjusting their website to help us meet the needs that we want.
I don't know anything about what's a Zyko.
Zyko, do you know iFlyer?
No, I don't know anything about any of this.
They basically, you can build pages, and when you create those pages, like it just has like your information nice. But even if your website doesn't do it, on that website you can have it sell tickets for you. So like people can buy their tickets in advance. Like do you know E Plus? Like at Lawson?
No.
Oh, so there's like a variety of ways to set up like online tickets so people can buy in advance. And they help like create like a list of like, all right, these people came, and they can offer their email if they want to be like contacted again.
Do you get a lot of emails that way?
I think from online tickets we have like 290 now.
That's a decent
Like,
list.
so that's nice. Like those are people who like what we're doing.
Email's a good way to contact people. It's often better than social media or Facebook advertisements. And how much of a cut do they take?
Depends on the service you're using, but like 5% and 99 yen per ticket.
Oh, so if you sell a ticket for 1,000 yen, they're gonna take 110 yen basically.
Yeah.
Per ticket.
Yeah, basically.
So user don't pay the extra fee.
So Zyko is set up where you can cover the cost yourself, or the users can cover the cost.
Okay.
But Piatix, it's you cover the cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you figure out these services?
Actually, I went to an event that was using Piatix, and I was like, I should try that.
As an event organizer, you're looking for these types of avenues because curating only on social media is becoming, in my opinion, harder and harder because it almost becomes just repetitive. You know,
Yeah.
Here's my show on Facebook. Here is my show. Like 10 years ago, it was quite a good way to get people in the door. You just say, here's my event on Facebook. Very easy to navigate, but then Facebook keeps changing its appearances, and
they
then
want
all of
it
a
so
sudden,
you pay them, and
and then they don't even reach the people that they promised to you. It's a scam. Facebook is the enemy. Facebook is the enemy. They are bad people.
Oh man,
They're bad people. They're not good people anymore. So I guess you're looking for these types of services. And do you get a lot of people getting the tickets in advance compared to the door? Like, what do you know? Like the average? How would you compare the door sale tickets to the online ticket sales?
So like obviously the people buying them initially are still usually within the circle of More Than Music or the bands that are booked. And so because of that, it tends to be like 50-50 buy ahead of time and then like 50% kind of buy at the door. It depends on the event and obviously how much you tell people about the online tickets. Like we did one where we had 100 tickets sold by the time the show opened. And then it was like 162 people total. And then another time we had like 30 tickets sold, but it was 115 people total. Wow. So like it can vary a lot depending on what people say.
And do these websites like or services like iFlyer, do they offer connections to like, Instagram, where you can post Instagram and then have a link or like a clickable thing where if I'm on Instagram and I see More Than Music, I can click it, which will take me to iFlyer to buy a ticket? Or
you can definitely put up. So Zyko, I think, is the hardest one to use because it's the most versatile. You can actually have your website linked to it as it's still your website. Like it'll create a page. So like when you have a ticket button, it'll like act as your website, but it's like through the security of Zyko. Because, they like having online commerce, like it's, dangerous in a way because you're handling money.
Yeah.
So you have to pay for like security and protections. And their website obviously does that because they handle a lot of transactions. So like it goes through that, but like you can have it look like your site. So like it's very useful for users because you can, if you have a website, you could keep it on your site.
Yeah. That's really cool. That makes really good sense. That's good business sense, actually. Yeah. Being you're asking me like, what was I doing before? And it's like, yeah, I wasn't. It's really hard to think about your music as product.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I can, if I am going to manage somebody's music, I can manage their music as product because it's just somebody else's thing. But it's like it's really hard to think about my own personal stuff, and then so having these tickets available on the website to click through, that's genius. That's so cool. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's easy to think about anything as a business, even like your music or anything that's personal.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that I could just, since I'm not playing, I could try to find options to help people set up their stuff better so it runs smoother. Like this.
Yeah. More Than Music.
How big is like your service, like page views or like?
We're pretty tiny. Like, well, one, I'm terrible with social media. Like, I do it. It's a necessary evil in my mind. Someday, as we get more volunteers and like a team, people who are better at that stuff can do it over me. Like, I understand the value of getting like good pictures done so that bands could use them for their websites and stuff like that, or creating the videos. But like to just sit there and share it, like if I didn't organize, I would not be on the internet that much. But so we have like just like a couple hundred on Instagram, and Facebook's like nearing 1,000. But like I don't, like obviously we want people to come to the events because we think that makes it fun. Like one, I want like a really strong community. Like I believe the artists are great, and I know how much work they put into what they do, so I want people to experience that. But I just want to share it, right? So the whole promo thing, like I know it always comes down to like selling tickets on a lot of people's minds, but it's just I want people to know this. And like so we have like a routine now where like really all we're doing is just like, here's pictures of a band, like don't they look cool? Here's a video that they've created. What do you think of their music? Here's a page we built, so it's very easy to access their Facebook, Instagram pictures and videos, so you don't have to look around, because like a lot of bands, it's out there somewhere, but most people can't find it, so we just try to make it easier for people to find the information. And then it's just slowly building from there. Like what helped is we got picked up by Time Out Tokyo and Metropolis 2 times now, so like there's a couple articles floating around. And
Does that help?
yeah, our last show, there are at least 5 to 10 people there that saw it on like Tokyo Cheapo and Metropolis and Time Out. So like it's not like, oh, you're gonna have 1,000 people there, but people do see it. And
A percentage is a percentage. And
Yeah.
if you can multiply those percentages from various sources, then you're gonna about like videos and things like that. Sometimes I go to these shows and there's like 80 photographers,
Yeah.
and they have giant setups, and I'm trying to watch a band, but really I'm just watching photographers take pictures. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, actually, the one show, the stage wasn't really risen up, and people did comment on that because we've worked with different videographers, and this guy, the footage turned out really good, but like he was like,
Yeah.
so it's trying to draw a line.
Have you
Gotta
thought
draw a
about
line
like
somewhere.
I was thinking about this with the smartphone technology and the cameras and things like that becoming so good. You almost don't need photographers there if you want to just do promo reels on social media or online. So like this, I'm holding up a microphone, and this is an XY microphone from Zoom, and it plugs directly into the smartphone, and you could turn on your video camera, and you put this screen over top so it doesn't have any pop effect on it, and you can take high definition video with really good sound quality without having to see 30 cameramen get in the face of the bands while you're trying to watch them. So this type of minimization of technology could mitigate the amount of camera people. One of the reasons I don't go to a lot of shows anymore is because everybody is holding up smartphones and I can't see the band sometimes. So I'm like, it's just like I kind of give up, you know? So if there could be like 2 or 3 designated people that would have like a selfie stick and periodically take a minute video or something like that with high, because this microphone takes care of the audio problems that happen with smartphone technology, and then the screens are so advanced these days, they're just as good or better than most digital cameras.
I'm not one to talk technology, but I always thought like cameras, like especially outside, to take really good photos. But I always thought they were still weak in like dark lighting.
They're getting really good. The Huawei phones from China,
Oh yeah.
you can take pictures in pure darkness, and you can see everything.
Really.
You can take a picture of the Eiffel Tower from 500 meters away with the phone and zoom in and see people's names written on
Oh, that's crazy.
on the side. So the level of technology in the past 2 years with some of these newer cameras.
Is that when they started like the two lens cameras?
Something like that. Yeah, and they work with it's software now. It's just programming. It will take 10 pictures and stitch them all together, and you can choose the one that you like, and it will algorithms can brighten up and pull out details just by analyzing pixelation and things like that.
I might have to steal that from you later.
Yeah.
How much does something like that cost?
This microphone cost you can get it for 6,000 yen now.
6,000 yen?
Yeah. And if
Oh, that's very reasonable.
it's super reasonable, and the audio quality, you can make it sound really good.
Can I see that?
Of course. Steals the microphone. He told me he was going to steal it. And I'm like, no, he has a nice smile. He won't steal my items. He is a music promoter. Why would he steal? You know.
Oh, that hurts.
I know, you're so nice. That's awesome. Okay, well that's really interesting. So we have 63 mutual friends on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that.
But we have never met. Because when did you start doing promotions and things like that in Tokyo?
It wasn't planned. Like I tended to always get people together. Like even when I was in Kyushu and hanging out with my friends, even in the States before I came over. But my brother lived with me, and like it kind of started through foods. Like he was a little bit shy about going out because he
Through
didn't
foods?
know Japanese. So we'd have people over for dinner.
Oh.
And, then we started doing that a lot. And then we're like, well, this is really expensive to be cooking up nice dinners every day for everyone. So why don't you all come together? We'll like split it and throw like kind of a party.
Potluck.
And that was fun. And then me and Jason were cooking most of the time.
Jason's your brother?
Yeah, he's my brother.
All right.
But like he was a chef in the army, he worked at a restaurant for a long time. He's
That's
a
cool.
really great cook. So he
Yeah.
loves cooking. I love cooking too. I think it's kind of been in the family. Like my mom was a baker even, and just a lot of home cooking. So like we would make these dinners, and I think people liked it, especially on the Japanese side, because like, oh, this is like authentic foreign food.
Sure.
So, without even thinking about it, we started having like twice a month, we had like 40 people in our house for dinner. And that's where we met friends, friends of friends, friends of friends of friends, somewhere in bands. And that's where the idea came to, well, why don't we just try a show? Like you're saying, it's hard to sell tickets because there's 40 people in the house. Like we could do something, right? Let's try.
Sure.
And that's just how the music
When
thing
did
started.
that start?
The first show, food started earlier, but the first show was 2013.
So it's very recent.
March.
So I'm just, and when did you move to Tokyo?
Tokyo, it's a gray. I was half in Ibaraki and half in Tokyo for a while.
Okay.
So only Tokyo 6 years ago.
6. Okay, that makes sense. Because I'm just kind of going back to like, well, how we never really bumped into each other. Like 6 years ago, I was a lot more active.
Oh,
and
really?
Then I started
Yeah.
becoming less active. And then when I was with Dead Sea Dropouts, we don't play a lot of live shows.
I've seen Dead Sea Dropouts online. Sorry I didn't put it together that you're in the band.
No,
Like, I've
I'm the
listened to
drummer.
some
I'm in
of
the
your music.
back. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Drummers don't get enough love.
I'm fine with that.
Always
actually.
asking the camera
Yeah.
guy, make sure to get the drummer.
I don't care anymore. I was doing a lot of front manning for a while, and eventually I just kind of got tired of it. Like It's weird because I love writing songs and I like playing music with people, but then I get up on stage and I'm like holding a guitar and I'm looking at people and I'm going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't mind being behind a drum set. Yeah, someone else can do that. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Right. Well, if you're active 6 years ago, I was originally mostly only Japanese. Like
Yeah.
I think I actually really enjoyed just showing up and being the only foreigner. It made it so easy to talk to everyone.
Yeah, it's fun too.
Like, why are you here?
It feels like an adventure.
Yeah.
I did that for a long time too. I was always like looking at all the foreigners that just kind of move into these houses together, and I'm like, why did you can? I was like, I'm just gonna live by myself and go to yakitori restaurants and study menus and kind of live like really local and kind of lone wolfy for a while, And you learn a lot about yourself and about the world.
It's very respectable.
And you just kind of, you got to throw it off. You got to say goodbye to a lot of people at the end of the day. But, those people go back home or they move on, so it's really interesting to be that person because, you kind of leave your home culture. And I was an outsider in my home culture. And now I'm in Japan and I'm like an outsider. So I'm not Japanese, but I'm also not hanging out with a lot of foreigners. So I'm kind of feel like I'm doubly removed, but I've hold out a decent life for myself.
As long as you enjoy it, you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you said you have a 10-year plan for More Than Music before shifting, because Mamoru also has kind of a platform he's developing. But yeah, I think you two would probably work together in the future.
Well, then it's very great to be sitting next to you, buddy.
So, do you have any? What can you promote anything at the moment for More Than Music?
So, actually, we're talking with Hakuba to do like a.
What's
trip
Hakuba?
Up. It's a ski resort.
Okay.
Like take some of the acts up there and do like a 3-day ski trip.
That sounds dope.
Either in January or March.
Yeah.
I'm going to London because we eventually want to set up like a way to take someone to London in a year or two. And like actual shows, August 31st. So this one's a little bit more on the funk and groovy sides. Like we have a band that's kind of rockabilly. If you've never seen someone stand on their bass while playing it, it's pretty dope.
Which band?
Carolyn's.
Carolyn's.
Yeah.
Good.
And then there's this guy, Tatsuo. He writes a Tato and the Riverside Squared. So I knew him back in Madman Tales, and he's just such a great showman. Like, I really enjoy just watching him be on stage, and then he's also a great singer too.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen his solo stuff recently, but I'm really happy to book his bands. And then we have Momo Funk, who brings the funk, obviously. They let it be known in their name, but they're cool.
Yeah.
And Kikazao, which is more like a blues rock, hip hop
Sounds interesting.
What's the word? Fusion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's gonna be a pretty wild night at, I don't know if you know Underdeer.
No, I don't. I'm not a rock guy,
Okay.
so I don't really go to a lot of because I
Well,
was a
Underdeer's-
folk musician.
Underdeer is actually really good for like folk and jazz and.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, like funk. It's actually they use it for weddings. Like it's a beautiful place. Little suit of armor. Like got these steps that go up to like a lounge area.
Suit of armor, lounge area.
Yeah, and there's 2 lounge areas, and then like in the center there's a big dance area.
That's cool.
So it's a really nice one, and there's an aquarium behind the van. So like you know, if you get tired of the guys on stage, just watch the fish swimming around.
So what I was talking about earlier, the fish come and go. They're like a fish
exactly.
tank.
See, you knew where we were going.
Yeah, and the bands come and go
Yeah.
just in front of the fish tank. And
Well,
the
that-
fishes change too, you know. It's not always the same fish. Sometimes it's a stripy one. That one gets flushed. They bring in a yellow one.
And sometimes it's blue too.
Blue ones. I like the blue ones that go up and then down. Yeah, those are the best. Yeah.
Gotta watch out for those eels though. They pop out of nowhere.
Eels, I don't trust. I don't trust them. They never look beautiful, and they always look like they should be smoking. You know, even though it's underwater. I always imagine an eel has just stubbed out a cigarette and is gonna leave their little abode and fuck somebody over somehow. Isn't that what eels
They might.
do?
I don't know. They're pretty delicious though.
Yes, yes, and endangered.
Yeah.
The freshwater
I
eels.
think they're 2 different ones, right?
Yeah. Anago is saltwater, and unagi is freshwater. And I like eating the freshwater ones only because they're endangered. I can go, I'm going to go and eat some endangered animals tonight.
Oh, that's risky. I think I understand your vibes though. It's like eating basashi. You're like, oh man, my grandparents raised horses.
Basashi. All right. More than music. That's great, man. That's cool that you have a whole platform and everything. I've never been able to do that just because time-wise, you know, like having a job and then trying to make bands and then booking shows and then also trying to have platforms and then payment options and all that. It's
It's work.
It's
Like,
work. Are
but
you
it's kind of
ex-military too?
No.
No.
I'm just an idiot.
Oh, well, you're the smartest idiot I've ever met. You've managed to figure out payment processing online. It's more than most people I know. That's great.
Oh, nice.
I don't think you're an idiot. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Do you think he's an idiot, Mamoru?
No.
Now I know you like the goma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm going to London as well.
Oh, really? When are you going to be there?
From the beginning of October.
A little bit too late,
Yeah.
but maybe I'll be back someday.
Yeah, but I'm going to stay there for
How-
2 years.
Oh, for 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'll have to come and catch you.
Yeah.
What are you going over for?
Doing music. Yeah, basically I've got working holiday visa for UK. Which
Really?
is, 2 years long. 2 years
And
long.
you're allowed to do music on that? Like,
Yeah.
okay, oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I'm allowed to do anything I want. Work or study but I'm not going to...
Do you know people over there, or are you just like, all right, I'm going to do this, and you made up your mind, and you're just going to jump into it?
I know some people there, yeah.
Mamoru just came back a few months ago from like a 3-year tour of
Really?
Europe and
Oh, shit.
America and Canada and everything like that.
I might have to bother you. How do you do this?
No, I wouldn't call it as a tour. I would just like traveling and staying some places with the working holiday visa, and then
Is that not a tour? Traveling?
busking, gigging, make money.
He was a rambling man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
So do you always play by yourself then? Like you tossed me your CD
I
here.
did.
Is this a solo thing?
Well, yes, that CD, yes. But since I came back to Japan, I've been playing with a band. Yeah.
So you're ditching them in October? Is that what you're saying? Are they coming with you?
Oh no, they're gonna stay in Japan. It's more like I'm doing. Basically, I play music as a solo, but I have session players to play together in Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mamoru is actually doing something that's very different from bands and bands organizing. How would you what's different from what you're doing to what the bands are doing, Mamoru?
I think it's more like I like Eric Clapton and John Mayer, and they write their own songs by themselves, but then they sometimes they change band members, depends on what they want to do, and so I'm more like that. Instead of having a fixed band to do music together for a long time,
Yeah, all
I
right.
like to play with different people.
And you've been doing sessions, right?
Yeah, sessions.
What's a
as
session?
well. I organized jam sessions every month in Tokyo, but I finished because I'm gonna leave Japan next month, August.
What were they called? Your jam sessions, which ones were they?
It was called Can't Stop Jamming.
And you kind of front a session band.
Yeah.
So you would play like blues, Eric Clapton style
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
blues, and then there would be a backing band, and they're all professionals.
Yeah.
And you would toss them solos and things like that. Something
exactly,
like that, right?
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So it's not exactly like what you would expect from Foo Fighters, where it's like a total unit. It's more that Eric Clapton.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Sessions. A session indeed. Mamoru, you were saying that you were going to try to start some sort of platform as well?
Yeah, I was thinking of, but actually, my friend and I were thinking of, but it's on hold right now because we need to think like, because there's already a Facebook group called Gaijin Band,
Yeah.
and yeah, we thought it's better to post some articles which would help non-Japanese musicians in Tokyo there instead of having our web platform.
You should do it yourself. Gaijin bands is just one thing, and it's more for Gaijin players to network with each other. But having a Japanese outreach would be far more useful, in my opinion. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah. Just because there's one thing doesn't mean you shouldn't do your own. What would the purpose of your platform be for?
To provide information about jam sessions and open mic in Tokyo, like listed version, because I think it's difficult to find the information in one platform. I think we don't have, especially for non-Japanese people. I think it's really difficult.
Yeah, like
It's
I do know some
good,
people
yeah.
ask about it sometimes. So if you know more, especially in like the Japanese scene, because I think there's a lot of people who really want to mix it up. Like they don't want to get stuck in a foreign scene or a Japanese scene. They just want to play with like good musicians and meet good people.
Go
But
to
they
new
don't- They don't know
places.
how to find it, and they don't know where to go, and they want to try new things.
And it's not easy in Tokyo.
No.
Like if you go to, when I was in Europe a few years ago, there's just music everywhere. And it's like, I'm just going to go here and there's going to be music. It's going to be good. I'm going to go and see this drummer circle, or I'm going to go and see an accordion player, or there's like the music is a lot more part of the mainstream society, right? Like you can walk outside of a Parisian museum and there's going to be 6 amazing musicians playing traditional French folk music, and you're going to be like, look at the guy's accordion skills are the best I've ever seen. But not in Tokyo. It's very much like in some hole shoved into some second basement with a staircase that's not well lit up, and like a sign outside that might have like a dim lamp posted on it, and you don't really see it, you know.
Yeah.
So having access to the location on a platform.
Maybe
is
in
cool.
Tokyo you just get trampled if you're outside, so you got to move it in.
Yeah.
Because I do think it's there. Like I think there's so much good music in
Yeah.
Tokyo and so many
Without a doubt.
amazing places.
Yeah.
But how do you find it is the big question.
Yeah, and it's tough. And sometimes you don't know what you're getting into, right? Like I'm walking, it's Wednesday night. I'm like, doop-a-doo, walking around. I'm like, oh, here's a jam session. 3,500 yen? To see who? I don't know these people. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. And I just like keep on going, It's like, It's not exactly inviting, It's not saying, hey, come on in. It's like, here's this dimly lit staircase with a quite a hefty charge just to get in. Yeah, it is hard to get. Yeah, I would say proceed.
Yeah, man. I think you should do it, and then you can share it in the platforms for people who are looking like that. Like if you have it going on, that's something that they'd probably love to have, but having it like listed and easily accessible, like you can share between groups. Like that would be a thing. If you had it going, I'd share it on our page. Like
Yeah, I would
instantly.
share
Like,
it
I know
too.
enough people would
Yeah.
be interested in it.
Thanks.
Definitely. And we got to get off of Facebook. That's the other thing. Facebook is a growing cancer. It's a threat to our society.
It's actually dying, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's
if you
not
look at
good.
younger generation, it's like 25% of people are using it, whereas like our generation, I don't know. I'm slightly getting older these days. So
Yeah, I just turned
you don't
39
mind.
a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And then I got married the next day. I'm definitely getting older.
All right.
It's great.
Yeah. But like in younger generation, not as many people use it.
No.
So like we're
TikTok.
used to it, but yeah.
TikTok app. TikTok is getting huge. ByteDance, these Chinese social media apps. Yeah, so getting off of Facebook. TikTok.
Is it famous in outside
like-
Japan as well? Also?
It's getting famous outside of Japan. If you want to see 18-year-old Japanese girls jumping around bikinis on the beach, you go download that TikTok. All right?
Guess I have to get it
I
later
already have
today.
it. I already have it.
You already have it.
You already have it?
Yeah.
But-
Oh yeah, so you know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah. TikTok is from ByteDance, which is a Chinese internet company. And ByteDance is the world's largest, highest evaluated startup company. It has an evaluation of $75 billion. And TikTok has totally changed the way that people advertise in China. It's all through social, like TikTok influencers and social media video platforms, video-based platforms. So it has a massive effect where it spreads to. It's getting quite huge with the younger folks, and yeah, getting on. Like I swear to God, Facebook is bad. We got to get it. Like I used it to organize my wedding and everything, right? But it doesn't. It's trying to hold people in, and it doesn't let people expand out. And the older Facebook gets, the more it tries to isolate people into tiny little groups and then sell advertisement to those tiny little groups. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you get to like 1 million group members, they'll just shut you down. They'll be like, oh, you have an extremist in your group. You can't operate on Facebook anymore.
Really?
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's just like, well, I didn't know this person joined this 1 million person group. They're like, nope, shut down. Or all of these things, they have these really bizarre, arbitrary rules that they enforce out of the blue, and people that spend a lot of time trying to gather people around something suddenly find themselves disenfranchised from an entire media platform. So the more that we use Facebook as just a link to get out of Facebook is a lot more positive and moving forward in the future, especially in the next 4 or 5 years. So if you have an idea that links to Facebook and gets people off of Facebook, I'm supporting that 100%.
Okay, good to know.
And then it gets people meeting up in real life with each other, and instead of just going back and forth on social media. Yeah, social media.
Speaking of Meetup, the Meetup website, I always thought that was a good one. Like music, I don't think music's very interesting because I think so many people listen to it and love it, but very few people actually actively look for it. And you have your fanatics, but like a music group would never grow, whereas if you have a craft beer one, like it just
Boom.
Yeah.
Well, and like what I was mentioning earlier, Spotify had 750,000. Like that's a huge market share every minute. Yeah.
Yeah, as a musician, I always think about like how I can stand out in like with this compete others. Yeah.
So what'd you come up with? How do you stand out?
Well, I have an idea like wearing Japanese kimono stuff. So
That's cool.
yeah, and also I started to write lyrics. I write lyrics in English, but I started to use Japanese expressions or Japanese philosophy to be different. You like having my style?
So you mean like there's so many pop artists where they sing Japanese and then randomly they're like blue sky in the lyrics. You do it in reverse. It's like English and then you add some Japanese into that.
No,
or
I don't add Japanese word. I add Japanese idea or philosophy. For example, in Japanese, if we say a dream on a spring night, that means something that's comfortable, but it doesn't last long. So I use this word like a dream on a spring night, but I use it in
It's
a way
very pleasant.
that
Yeah.
it can make sense because I don't want to put random stuff.
Do you provide an example? Like a dream on a spring night is like, sakura falling into my nihonshu.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think you're a poet.
That's a good. I had a English. I was thinking of.
I have a poetry degree. I do. I have a degree in
That's a good
journalism and
one.
poetry. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Word choice. Why are you moving, Mamoru? So anything to? So you're not? You don't have anything to add about the platform?
Yeah, because it's on hold right now. It depends on. So my friend was caring about how many people or users would use this service. So that's why I was wondering, like the page views
Just
of your.
do it.
So my question is it something you want to do, or is it something you're trying to get big? Because, like, honest to God, like, if I wanted to do something that would be popular, I would have done what I did. Like, it attracted me. And no matter how much I tried to avoid it, it always kept calling back to me. So I decided to just, say, fuck it and commit myself. But, like, I actually had started up a company before this. And so when I talk about, like, quitting jobs to focus on this more, I'm quitting jobs that I've created and, like, got contracts for on my own. And it's like, oh, yeah, that's going to be my career. Oh, no, it's not anymore. I'm going to do this.
Interesting.
So, like,
what were you saying no to?
I just, like, I was in the English, like, I
Okay.
created in a small English company.
Oh.
More than English, very original, right? More than English, more than music.
Yes.
More than food, more than booze.
More than food.
More than a bar when we get down the line, I guess. I don't know.
I like the idea of more than, though. It adds that aspect of community that you're obviously feeling relatively passionate about.
Well, I think, I think the community is, like, the whole aspect that I love. Like, I'm not a musician, and I didn't even see I organized a show at a live house in Tokyo before I've ever been to a live house in Tokyo.
Oh, weird.
So, like, but it was a community thing, and I really enjoyed that, and I still enjoy that aspect. Like, the people who come out are, like, the greatest people ever, and, like, the best compliment we ever get is like, oh yeah, it was a great show, but, like, there's so many good people, and I like this aspect. That's what I love about it, like, the people involved.
The
And
nod. People that give you the nod at the end of the show.
Oh
like,
man, I think it's more like drunk and stumbling down, but yeah.
Yes, and nodding. Mamoru, so you recently, when you got back to town about a year ago, I think, right? So why are you going out again? What?
Because so I basically apply for the working holiday visa for UK just because you gotta be lucky to get one. It's only limited number of people can get one, so I just apply every year anyway. Then I have option and I can decide. I just got through this year, and then I thought,
So you've been applying every year.
yeah.
Okay.
And then also I found because I'm singing in English, so it's very difficult in Japan, like because they don't understand my lyrics instantly. I always explain what I'm singing about, but then I think it's still difficult. So I think it's better to be outside Japan.
Why did you choose to sing in English?
そうだね。
そうだね.
Because I don't know, the music I love were like Beatles, blues, R&B, soul, funk, and all of them are from like English culture, English language music. Then, so I started doing covers in English, and I don't know, because my Japanese isn't that good.
I understand that problem.
Yes, sounds familiar. Yes, no matter how many times I hear the opposite, I never believe them.
Well, I was curious, like,
know.
is it like a stylistic thing? Like, I was talking to people before, and I like folk music. I don't know if you know Kate Beck or
Yeah,
people like
I know
that.
Kate Beck.
And there's
Yeah.
this girl.
She
and-
moved back to California
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, she moved back and then she came back for work and was here longer than her time in California. And now she's back again. I think she'll always be back and
Back
forth.
and forth. All right.
But there's this other girl, Jessica, in England, who I think is absolutely a gorgeous singer. Like, and when I say gorgeous, I'm not talking about looks, like her voice, her style. Like, it's just a beautiful way of singing in the folk style. And we were talking about it, and it's just like, could you imagine trying to sing Japanese lyrics to music like this? And like, the answer that we had was like, no. Like, sometimes the language actually shapes the music that you can create. And when you have like this Japanese style pop or English style folk, like in part that's because of how the language is shaped and how it sounds.
Yeah, I think I much prefer English sound, and I can't sing in Japanese, I think.
Really? Because you've trained yourself to sing from blues and things like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh. What's the? Would you say that the Japanese lyrics are too many words compared to the English lyrics? Or English lyrics
Syllables,
like?
you mean?
Yeah, like
I always-
longer phrases in the
Depends on-
Japanese.
Yeah.
They're always like explaining things.
Yeah. Yeah. So the way it's written is different. Yeah, it's very different. Yeah.
Japanese songs are always explaining things. To you.
Yeah.
I have an image now.
Yeah, I think that's why. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not big fan of like J-pop or J-rock. And I don't know. I just don't like this.
But think of Mr. Children.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah. Well, maybe, yeah. For example, Mr. Children, they write, their lyrics is very too smart. Almost like I think I can't write like that. Because it's more like, it's sort of like, the way they write is like novel or like novel.
Yeah.
Like sophisticated lyrics,
Okay.
basically.
We have a couple of minutes left before we have to pack up.
Okay.
So, are you only going to be in London? Are you organizing a tour? Are you doing it the way you were before? Are you going to be screaming Wonderwall at 2 a.m. on Irish streets and getting paid hundreds of euros an hour like last time?
Yeah, maybe I would do that.
Yeah?
But then, well, so for August and September, I'm going to be in Germany and Croatia to play some festivals.
Okay.
Yeah, I have really good friends in Germany and they invited me
With the band or by yourself?
with the band.
So you're going
with
to
them.
pop in with the session band and they're getting trained up.
Yeah, like I'm going to join their band and then I think I'm going to also play, yeah.
Croatia?
Yeah.
That sounds cool, man.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Let me know if you see Mirko Krokop.
Croatia?
You know Pride? Pride. Like Sogo Kakutoke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like him, yeah.
Yeah.
He's strong.
Good.
Then I'm going to London, or maybe I might stay in Germany. Depends on the situation, the circumstance that I basically want to choose the environment that I can grow as a musician more. So
That's
yeah.
cool.
What does that mean to you, to grow as a musician?
More.
To play with better musicians in my style.
In my opinion, some of the best musicians are already in Tokyo. So, what do you?
It's true. There's tons of good music.
But I think for blues, no, I think.
Do you think that the blues musicians in Tokyo have a very traditional 70s way of looking at blues and always play the blues the same way? Is that why?
No, it's. I think when it comes to black music, it's different. Like I've been to New York and LA, and I was so surprised that like I don't know, something is different. The way they sing, or
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah. They sing with a lot more of like the stomach.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're a little bit like attacking the microphone a little bit more. They're like grittier or aggressive, I think, compared to Japanese. Yeah, Japanese musicians kind of pride themselves on the beauty of the technical playing, whereas a lot of American blues musicians want to rip the blues out of the microphone or out of the guitar and you know, like a howling wolf style of tradition. Yeah, all right. That makes sense. That sounds cool. All right.
Dinner time?
Yes, dinner time. So I'll be playing, I'm going to be joining Adam Yang's band Yeti. They're coming to Tokyo. Very AC/DC, blues, rock, a little bit of ZZ Top thrown in there. Adam Yang Yeti, he's coming to Tokyo. I'm going to be backing him on the drums. Hopefully we can score some shows that way. So check out Adam Yang Yeti. I think he's from Vancouver, but he spends a lot of time in Vietnam. Just
When's he coming in town?
I'll forward you the details.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll see if we can set up a show. He's actually wanting to do some busking, but he's looking for some venues, and let's talk.
We've set up. Actually, we have a German and Polish band coming in over the next couple of months.
Wow! So you're packing them in. They pay for their own flights, and it's like a.
I'm learning new things. I'm writing a letter of recommendation. The Polish band is actually raising money through government grants.
They're good at that in Europe. Yeah. They got that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like a new aspect to the whole thing that I didn't know existed until this.
That's how Elon Musk got all his money. He got it through government grants.
Really?
Yeah, billions of dollars just waiting to be used for green technologies. He scooped it all up, built SpaceX.
Green music.
There you go. Perfect idea. Yes. Reducing the ecological footprint through music. Boom. Billions of dollars just waiting for you, Justin.
All right. I have to figure it out. That's the next step.
Hit up Elon Musk on Twitter and say, I need some of that core competency.
You want to make some green music?
Yes. We'll put in the neural implants and connect to the 5G network. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks so much for having me on.
This was fun, huh? More than music, I really respect what you're doing, by the way. I think it's really necessary, and to focus all of the attention through one sort of portal called More Than Music. It's a fantastic idea, and if you have a 10-year plan, I think that's super dope.
Well, thanks for saying that. Like, that means a lot. Like, it's been a lot of work and dedication, and from this point forward, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
But, like, it's been really through the support of everyone around me, and like the continuation, like the bands, like we really work together on it all. So it's really nice to have going.
And if you're going to London and you're in London, you guys should hook up sometime soon too. Yeah.
When are you leaving to Germany? You said August and September?
Yeah.
When do you leave?
Back to London, yeah.
The end of September.
End of September?
Or the beginning of August. Oh, no, October.
Okay. Yeah, I'll bother you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mamoru's really good.
Oh,
he plays amazing acoustic, but he also does really good solos and things like that. He has some videos up, and I really recommend watching them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, Mamoru, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and good luck out there in the wild world. Yes.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to meet you, man.
Oh yeah, pleasure to meet you.
I love you guys.
いつも違うところに行きたいなら一緒に行こう火遊びしよう亀の株で火遊びしよう火遊びしよう、だって僕はもう見つけたんだバルベリーグローの道これは僕だけの道見つけたからでは
車なんて誰も乗らないし国もそう言うけど僕は乗るよ中央線毎日乗ってる高円寺から吉祥寺吉祥から高円寺だって僕はもう見つけたんだバルベリーグローベの道これは僕だけの道見つけた、この道は皆には見えないし皆は知らないでも僕の道だから僕には分かるなバルベリーグローブの道遊びしたいなら今日は亀のをかぶって一緒に行こう高円寺から吉祥寺だって僕はもう